This isn't really the news I wanted to wake up to, but I just finished reading this book last night, and I woke up this morning, May 15th, and found out that Jerome Young, aka New Jack, passed away at age 58 from a fatal heart attack. I had gone to many ECW matches and many indie shows and many conventions and ran into New Jack at a lot of them. I'm not going to say we were friends, because we weren't. He seemed like a decent guy when I met him. Like I said, ran into him quite a few times. I always tried to hit any ECW show that would run in the area, and caught two down at Asbury Park, where basically the gangsters, led by New Jack, came out of nowhere. And maybe he was with Kronos at that time, I'm not sure, but basically they brawled all over the building as they usually do, and he did a balcony dive on top of Bubba Ray Dudley. That was the first Asbury Park show I went to. The second one was the ill-fated exploding barbed wire death match between Vic Grimes and Balls Mahoney. Again, New Jack was there. It was something to do with Steve Corino. He left Corino bleeding in the middle of the ring as Jack Victory ran in, and they brawled all over the building. And this time, Jack was the victim of the balcony dive. Segue to some of the indie shows where he would show up at Combat Zone Wrestling and Jersey All Pro. When he went to Jersey All Pro, basically you had to take the mic away from him, because one match I saw him just beat the shit out of Danny D'Amato, hit him with a VCR, and then spend 10 minutes going off into the crowd about different things and promoters and shit like that. One thing, he was never dull. There was a Jersey All Pro anniversary show down at Atlantic City, actually held in one of the casinos. I was with someone at the time. We got there about 5 o'clock, and one of the matches was New Jack against Sandman in an extreme, whatever they would do, an extreme death match, hardcore rules match, however you slice it. When we got there, 5 o'clock, they were at the bar, and obviously had been at the bar for quite some time. Before the show started, they got in the ring. New Jack grabbed the mic and started going off, and that went on for about 20 minutes until they cut the mic. When they came out to wrestle, I said to my date at the time, I said, they're not going to wrestle each other, you watch. They basically invited somebody in the back out, again, Danny D'Amato, and it was one of their infamous things that ECW was famous for, the three-way dance. Pretty much they beat the shit out of Danny and left him bloody, but of course in the interim they beat the shit out of each other and left each other bloody. Then it was like, I believe I got Sandman's autograph, a t-shirt, and a Polaroid and whatever after that, as they went right back to the bar. Went to a convention, I believe it was Rawway. They were having a big wrestling convention there. I got there late. I was talking to Spike Dudley when all of a sudden there was a ruckus across from us at New Jack's table, where I guess some guy mentioned something about he knew Ron Simmons. So New Jack turns around and he goes, "So you know Ron Simmons? That's supposed to impress me? How many other, insert N-word here, do you know? You howdy-doody looking motherfucker." So I'm cracking up, Spike's cracking up, Cowboy Ron Bass is cracking up. So I went over to New Jack's handler, Eric Sims, who I knew, and I said, "Look, dude, I want to get a picture with him and an autograph, but I ain't going to pay you." So he hooked that up. Again, he was cool with me. I went down to the Hardcore Homecoming ECW reunion thing, where it was basically supposed to be the Eliminators, John Kronos and Perry Saturn, against Bad Breed, Ian and Axel Rotten. Perry Saturn had broken his neck and couldn't be there, so they were basically beating the shit out of John Kronos. When out of the crowd came New Jack on a scaffold with a can of shit, beat the crap out of both of them, did his famous balcony dive, then went off about how pissed off he was that he wasn't going to be used the next night at the WWE ECW reunion show. So he has been a controversial figure all through his career. The thing with basically cutting open a guy's head in Massachusetts who lied about his age to get into the business, and almost killing the ECW pay-per-view. wrestling an 80-something-year-old Gypsy Joe who refused to cooperate with him and beating the shit out of him in front of some horrified fans. Another wannabe promoter in Florida trying to work him in the ring and wind up getting stabbed 14 times. He was no joke. From what I understand, if you cooperated with him, there was no problem. If you went against him, there would be a problem. I know that the whole thing with him and Vic Grimes up on the scaffold basically almost killed him. I mean, he had a fractured skull, brain fluid was leaking out. I think he said he was blind in one eye after that. But he went to XPW and basically got in a scaffold match with Grimes and tasered him off and almost killed him. Reality was he was nobody to fuck with, but he was a straight-up guy. I believe I saw his retirement match against him against the Necro Butcher, but in wrestling nobody actually retires. I think he was coming back to do a show with Madman Pondo, a good friend of his, but unfortunately that will never happen because, like I said, I woke up today, May 15th, to the news that Jerome Young had passed away last night at age 58. Unfortunately, ECW has a legacy of wrestlers that went way too soon. Both members of the Public Enemy, Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock, Balls Mahoney, Axel Rotten, Chris Candido, John Kronos. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, it was no secret that Jack was a partier, and a lot of these guys were partiers. And unfortunately, I guess it pretty much cut all their careers very short, that and the in-ring stuff. So all I can say is I love to watch New Jack work. He was a great wrestler, great performer, was great on the mic, and it's sad that he had to leave us so young, and I'm sad that on this episode of Grindhouse Purgatory I have to sound so downbeat, but then again, part of the purpose of Grindhouse Purgatory is the honor of the guys that have left us, and Jerome Young, a.k.a. New Jack, you left us too soon. Thank you for all your work and entertaining us over these years, and I hope you're at peace right now. So, New Jack, rest in peace. That's all I got for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you on the flip side.